bit like, oh no, another change. But I thought it was a welcome change because there's so much movement towards the early childhood industry or our field to become recognised as professionals. So I think it's a welcome change. I did a lot of reading, a lot of the initial documentation that came through. I did a lot of that myself before I kind of addressed it with the staff. So I did a lot of networking with other directors within our community and other types of services like long day care and preschool as well. And when I felt like I had a fairly good grasp on the information that was put out there, then I exposed that to the staff through staff meetings, some handouts that came through via the internet. We discussed like the terminology and that was involved in the NQF and tried to relate that to what the staff were already doing, so it didn't scare them to think that was a huge change, because even though it is a big change, there's a lot of stuff that was already general practice, so it was just identifying the terminology. A lot of teamwork groups. We had a few special meetings outside of our general staff meetings to discuss areas that the staff were concerned about, or something that I thought that as a group we weren't all fully aware of. Probably quality area 1 to do with the programming and planning. As a team and as a director, I thought that was fairly strong for us to begin with. But using the documentation that was coming through, networking with other people, I think we've had a lot of growth in that area, and still room for more growth. I think it's always finding better practice. Yes, I think they have great online tools. The website's easy to use, and I found to do with management and like to do with our committees and managing staff as a director, kind of policies and things like that. I've found CCSA quite approachable via phone. You know, if there's an issue or something, I've found, you know, you can ring up and they either, you know, can help you, someone there can help you straight away, or they'll call you back and just lead you in the right path, or let you know whether you are going down the right track, or give you some pointers, and where to find the information as well. You know, documentation that we have on the premises that may not have come to mind, that you can find what you need. They kind of point you in the right direction. So I found through the whole process that, you know, even if you think it's a silly question, you know, they don't make you feel silly. Yeah, so, and because things are changing all the time in this industry, it's good to know that that there's somebody there that can kind of confirm what you're thinking, or you know, set you straight. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it was about 8:15 that our assessor turned up, and I introduced her to all the staff and gave her a bit of a tour around the preschool, and she, you know, got familiar with the environment that she was going to be in for the day. And then not long after that, our parents and children started coming, so she was kind of just around observing that kind of period of the day, and a lot of the time she was kind of just around. She wasn't really in your face. She was just, you knew she was there obviously, but she was, yeah, not intrusive in the day. And then so after the morning arrival, when everybody came, she kind of sat for probably half an hour or an hour and just kind of observed the staff within the room, and kind of, you know, walked around the service again, looking at the displays we had, you know, different, how the room was set up, and different things like that. So for that first part of the morning, was mostly observing staff. She would grab our policy folder and she'd be sitting down having a look at that, and generally just talking to the staff. The feedback I got from the staff was that the questions, she indirectly asked questions, so it was more through conversation, so the staff felt quite relaxed because they weren't questions fired at them. They were able to give her the information through general conversation, which I think was really good. And then at lunchtime, she sat down with myself and my assistant director, Franca. She, because I was on maternity leave for part of the process, so she sat down with both of us, and we had a cuppa and some lunch and just a general chat, which gave us the opportunity to talk over a few points that she had brought up that she wasn't quite sure of. So that gave us the opportunity to lead her in the direction where she could find some more evidence for those areas. And yeah, so after lunch she gathered a few more documents and took some photocopies, and we'd given her copies of some of our documents, like our parent handbook, staff handbook, an enrolment pack, some of those things. So she had more opportunity to watch us on the floor than to be sitting through photocopying and looking through all those documents. And then so she had the opportunity to speak to the staff again, and some of the staff had actually approached her because they felt like there was some things they felt like they needed to let her know. And then towards the end of the day, she sat down with Franca and I in the office. Very informal, like it was never, I never felt, I wouldn't say threatening, but it never felt uncomfortable, which was nice. And she went through what she had seen through the day and the areas that she thought maybe that she hadn't noticed any documentation, or she hadn't noticed things happening in the service, and just wanted to give us the opportunity to let her know about things that we had done that supported those areas. So that was really good. One of the areas that she picked up on was sustainability, and that was an area that you know, we kind of discussed about what we'd done, and so sometimes there was differing opinions in what she had observed and her interpretation of what we'd done to what we had thought. But that's the whole process, I guess, that you know, what individuals sees and the differences. Then she kind of explained to us what the process would be then, that, you know, she would go home and she writes up her report and sends it, and it gets put into a draft and sent to us, and she ended up leaving the service about 4 o'clock, so she was just here for the one day. But yeah, it was quite a pleasant experience, which was maybe not what we were expecting, which was nice. From our assessment date to when we received our rating was about 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, so and it was quite exciting when we did get it. But yeah, it seemed like a long time between the actual assessment and when we received the rating. I think proud comes to mind as well, because you know, through the whole process there was a lot of questioning what we did and if it was the right way. So having received the exceeding rating from the assessor kind of was a sense of, you know, pride, knowing that what we do is good, and somebody else can recognise that, not just ourselves. So yeah, proud, and, you know, justifying that what we do is is providing good quality care. So yeah. Committee actually approved us to have a nice little social night, congratulations kind of night. So that was nice to know, because our committee's made up of parents. So my tips would be take time to understand the process, the documentation, the terminology, support staff in a director's role, supporting your staff, reassuring them, working together as a team with your staff, because there's no way that an individual can take on this whole process, and part of the process obviously is team collaboration. So you have to work together, working together, supporting your staff, doing things one step at a time. I think at the beginning of our process we tried to do a lot all at once, and I found breaking it down, doing one thing at a time, it helped, and it doesn't overwhelm staff. Doing one thing at a time. Make sure that you're doing whatever you've chosen to do, doing it well, instead of just skimming over a number of issues, and asking and seeking help when you need it. Sometimes people in your community can be very supportive, you just need to ask. So asking people for help, organisations like CCSA, you know, just little questions like I said before, can take a big load off your shoulders. So seeking help when you need it, delegating tasks. Sometimes it's hard to do, but if you get your staff all on board and you delegate tasks and topics to them, then it makes the whole process an enjoyable one, because not everybody's bombarded with a whole lot of information and tasks to do all at once. And identify what you already do. So if you identify what you're already doing and your staff can identify what you're doing, it doesn't seem like such a huge task to get to that end result. And yeah, I think working together as a team is really important. If you've got everybody on board, and supporting each other will help everybody get on board.